Good morning. Good morning. I am so sorry for missing this today. I didn't miss it. I was just late, and then when I came to, when I came and found my got my computer, the battery was 1%. So I'm like trying to find the cord and stuff to plug it in, and then by the time I went to plug it in, as soon as I plugged it in to the wall, like just like literally that fraction of a second before, it like I heard the computer like turn off. So then I had to, so then anyways, yeah, plugging it back in, and then I'm like, oh no, I wonder if anybody came into the class. So, anyways, I thought today what I might do is go through one of the leg uh, exercises, like leg workouts that I've posted on your trainer eyes, and I can kind of talk through it. And so it's the same thing as what is actually on your trainer eyes, but just with me leading it. So uh give me a few seconds. I'm gonna get arranged here, and then I'll come back on and I'll post that workout. I'll get everything ready for you. Okay, just give me a few seconds. Hold on. Okay, coming back again. I'm just gonna get my shoes on because I didn't get those done. Get those on. So, yeah, today's Friday. Fantastic. Fantastic Friday. And I hear we're supposed to be getting a nasty storm in Ontario. I live close to Kitchener Waterloo. So I keep hearing we're supposed to be getting some nasty weather. I'm pretty much done with winter. Um, Personally, definitely done. Definitely done with winter. I was actually done with winter when it first got a little bit cold. That's when I was done with winter. Yeah. I know we live in Canada. It's to be expected. Still doesn't mean I can't complain. People complain about weird, crazy stuff all the time, so I'm allowed to complain. I'm going to actually come over here and turn on some music. And because I don't have anybody to tell me how loud the music is, I'm just going to leave it as what it is, and I'm going to hope that it's okay. So I'm just, yeah, it's hard for me because to tell, because I'm not on that side. So I can barely hear it on my side. Um, but maybe for you guys it's perfect. So all right, we are going to get warm. We're going to get warmed up. And yes, I realize now I forgot my watch. So duck walk. So we're getting down nice and low. Just remember, these are for warm up. So we're gonna go very slowly, take our time, keep the chest lifted. I've got my water next to me. so that we want to frequently, as much as we can, keep drinking, trying to get, close to a liter in. Air squat is next, so dropping down. So again, because we're just getting warm, it's not about speed, we're not holding any weights. It's almost like a dynamic stretch here because we're trying to get nice and low to open up through the hip area and to turn on the muscles that we are going to use. Beautiful. All right, side to side squat. Nice and gentle, stepping out and stepping in and to get to the other side. So you don't necessarily have to get the arms too involved. We are not really using them today. When we warm up, generally, how I like to warm up, that's why I've got it kind of programmed the way I do, is to target the muscles that you're actually going to be using during the workout. So we're gonna go through that all again, our duck walks, sinking down. So for me, I've just in my own studies and stuff like that, I believe, not everybody may not believe this, but doing a little bit of warm up, say on a cardio machine, there's really nothing wrong with that. You're still utilizing and warming up the muscles that you're going to work, but when you're doing something like this where it's very specific, I am focusing on leg day, why would I worry too much about what my arms are doing, right? I do want the heart to get pumping a little bit, but I want my legs to be ready for that work. So I'm going to imitate some of the exercises that I'll probably end up doing during the course of the workout, right? So that's why I put them in like this. Obviously, when you're at home, it's a little easier, or it's a little, I wouldn't say easier. It can be, you know what? It's actually the same for both home versus gym. Just strike that from the record. So even when I'm at the gym, I'm still targeting my legs for my leg day to get the warm up. We're just gonna stop there. At home, it's the same thing. You're just not, it's just, I guess the equipment is different. That's all I'm thinking of. So the first move on one side, 1 minute, 3-way lunge. I'm not going to use any equipment. I'm going to just stay with just my own body weight. So lunging forward, lunging side, and lunging back. So I have given, especially for these workouts, a full minute, because I don't want you rushing through any of the movement. I want you to be very, very deliberate in what you're doing and making sure in every position you are in really good body position, right? Good form, making sure the chest stays lifted, making sure you're drawing the belly in and being in very good control. So even myself right now, being very deliberate. You can, of course, speed through this, but a lot of times when you're speeding through, form suffers. Woo. Hold on. We're gonna change to the other side here. Good, so lunge forward, lunge to the side, and your arms may be different than mine. I kind of have my arms do what feels natural, for sure. So it's like a run. I like my arms up, especially in those side lunges, because it helps remind me to keep my chest up, and you can actually keep the arms up like this the whole time. But if you feel like you need to do something else with those arms, go for it, right? As long as you're not doing something that breaks your good form. 10 seconds. Whew, hold on to the balance. right? And again, if you're somebody that needed some support, stop there. If you're needing some support, even though my bar is not really set up here, I'm gonna try to get it set up here, or getting rid of all of these weights for a second, so I can kind of show you. You can also use a chair, but if you're somebody that might have a broom or something like that, and you need some support with your balance. So which leg am I going through again? We're going to the front. So you can actually, right, use this as a little bit of support, right? You can do the same thing with a chair right here. So if I was to stop this, you guys keep going. If you're following along, here's a great option as well. Hang on to a chair. Now, with the front, you might need to kind of, it might be harder to hold on to just because you're kind of moving away from the chair, but at least you know it's there, right? For a little bit of support, keeping you grounded. This is not a problem at all, right? And if you notice, I'm keeping my hand light on it, right? I'm not leaning on it. It's not helping me get up. It's just there for some support and balance. Stop there. We're going to switch to the other side. Good. So which leg was I using? That's a problem. When I'm talking, I forget. What am I doing? Good. Now, if you're somebody that's like just crushing this and you're thinking in your head, I could do way more. This is not a challenge at all. Then, instead of speeding up, I want you to pick up some light weights, super light weights, right? I just want you, these are twos. This is just an example, but you would be here instead, adding a little bit of weight, right? And knowing, okay, maybe 4 pounds, maybe that's still not enough for you. That's okay, you can start to add more weight. Stop there. You can always add more weight. But what I find a lot of people will do is they'll get into doing something just like we're doing, and they'll go right from the very first move and they'll be like, oh, this is way too easy. So they load up a whole bunch of weight. And then all of a sudden, form really starts to falter and they don't scale back because for some reason in your brain, you kind of think, well, I'm committed. I have to stay like this now, right? Which is not true. We have to keep going here. Forward, side, and back. Good. So just kind of putting that out there. It's always about that progression. And I got us on a 4-week schedule just for that reason. We're doing 2 sets of legs per week. Yes, the workouts are a little bit different, but you're going to see very similar theme, right? So it's the same thing. Long duration or longer duration, meaning you slowing yourself down, and instead of adding the speed to progress, you're going to add light weights, right? Until you feel like almost ridiculous, and you're absolutely not being challenged at all, right? Then you increase the weight. Stop there, switch sides, lunge forward, lunge side. It's amazing how fast a minute goes. And if you're doing this with me, you might be rolling your eyes being like, what are you talking about? Depends on, what's that, I think my Oma has crochet, for her bathroom, and it says, what does it say? How long a minute is? It depends on which side of the door you're on. It's very true. It's very true. You have about 20 seconds left. So you can see even myself, I'm just making sure when I stand up, I'm very aware of where I'm stepping. I'm sure of my footing here. and just really taking that time to reset myself every time. Good, stop there. Grab a drink. All right, I'm actually going to pause this for a minute. Now, what's a little bit different about today's exercise, if you're following along, is normally we are not looking for equipment. And I'm looking for my pink band, and I don't see where it is. But you're gonna get a band now. Oh, it's over here. So I have both kinds. I have the material kind, and I have the kind of the plasticky kind. They both have their benefits and weaknesses, of course. So I'm actually gonna place this band just below my knees, just below. And I'm gonna let the timer run. So if you need a little bit of support, here is another great option to use a chair for a little bit of balance support, not leaning support. You can also do it with the hand here. So I'm just checking out to see. All right, side, side, back, back, side, side, back, back. So I want you to try to stay low. I'm going to turn to the side here so you can see. The hips, as much as you can, are not going to move. And I'm tapping as far out as the band will allow me. Now, I was talking about the bands before. I'm going to turn back to you. I was talking about the bands before, the difference. I mean, I kind of like these more material bands. I'm going to actually move that down a little bit. Just only because I find they don't roll as much. But they definitely, their downfall, stay right there, is we're going to actually move this up because we're going to move into a lunge and a leg lift. So lunge, lift, lunge, lift. So they definitely do have their ability to stretch really far is not as good as the kind of the plastic ones. So stop there. We're going to switch sides. So the same thing, lunge and leg lift. So it would be nice for somebody to come up with a band that kind of has the staying power as the cloth, but the flexibility or the stretchability of a plastic. Good. So you'll notice this movement right here, not a huge movement, stop there, not a huge movement. If at any point, first of all, you don't have a band, or your form is like you're really, really struggling, get rid of it, right? You don't need that band to make these movements, to complete these movements at all. The only thing is, without a band, you have to be the one to actually mentally squeeze the parts of the body that you're working, right? So with the band, obviously it's easy because it creates resistance. Without a band, you have to be the one to pretend there's resistance there, if that makes sense. All right, so here we go again. Side, side, back, back. Now, as you're tapping, especially the back, I want you to think about fully extending that leg and trying to push through the knee, right? Because it's very easy to kind of do this, right? Where I'm not really giving a lot of resistance, but I do want to target that quad of the glute. So, extending and pushing the leg back to squeeze your butt. Good. From the side to side, it's the same thing. I can easily just kind of reach to the side and tap, but I'm not actually putting a whole lot of resistance there. So if I'm pointing the toe, I'm really pushing as far out as I can. That's what we're looking for. Now for the next one, we're gonna move up just a little bit because it makes lunging a little easier. And the squeeze, right? So it's the same thing. Lunge, I can easily kind of do this, right? And pretend that I'm squeezing. But I want you to point or flex that foot, just extend the whole leg as much as you can. This is where a chair might come in handy for you. Good, switch sides. So get into that lunge and squeeze. So this is a twofold. I'm gonna hold on to the chair just when I'm looking at you. So we've got that front leg working through the lunge and to stand us up, and then we've got the back leg as we squeeze to the top. Whew. Hold on to that chair a little bit less. 3, 2, 1, good. Hold on there. We're gonna go through that one more time. So if you notice, most of the times with my resistance workouts, 3 rounds, usually. Not always, but usually. So I'm gonna move this back down. Whew. Good, good, good. So taking some deep breaths. I'm actually talking more than what I normally would, obviously, in my own personal workouts. So I'm feeling a little bit more breathless maybe than I normally would. So a lot of hot air coming out. All right, so we're gonna go one more time, one more round. So coming down, tap, tap, back, and back. So don't forget, we're definitely not trying to lean and lean, right? Keeping the upper body very still and upright, yeah? So we're trying to get the sides, right? Butt, good. Side, butt, yes. So it might help you to actually have your fingers or your hands here to what you're actually targeting. Maybe that's just confusing. So if you start to lean, you want to kind of pull back just a little bit. Don't give in to that lean though, right? As soon as we start to let that our form falter, something else is now taking over, which we don't want. Good? So we want the muscles only that we're using and targeting to be working, right? So if I was, for example, lunge, and then all of a sudden I'm doing this, well now my glute, this glute that we're trying to target is not activated. Maybe my lower back is starting to suffer because I'm leaning forward, right? Let's switch sides. Lunge. So we really want to think, what muscles are helping in a big way here? My low back is definitely helping, right? My core, my abs, definitely helping to keep me upright. Nice, long, straight, flat back. Good. Stop there. Letting go. Let's see what's next here. Band and hip thrust. So actually, we're going to leave that band on around our knees. I'm going to use my couch here. I'm going to turn so that you can see. Good, good, good. So you can use a bench. I do have a bench. I just didn't get it out. But you can definitely use a bench. So as we're here, you're going to have your elbows sliding out kind of to the side, and this mid part of your back, a little bit higher actually, is going to be resting. So we want some tension on that band as we lift and we press the hips up towards the sky, right? So I'm not sure if you can see, but my feet are about hip distance And I'm really pushing my knees out. So we're not going super fast with this. And if you find that you want a little bit more, you're going to use a tighter band, right? That's always a better option to start with, is increasing that weight slowly. And then when you're using like 25 bands and you can't get any more, then you can start piling some weight on top of your groin area. All right, you have about 6 seconds. Very nice. Stop there. Woo. Stop there. And this is when we look like we're on a beach. And we're just gonna relax. So when you're resting, normally when I'm doing the cardio in the morning, I'm asking you not to sit down, right? Our heart rate isn't as high as when we're doing our cardio during resistance training, so it's okay to take a seat and actually rest. That's perfectly acceptable. It's the only difference for my ladies, especially who are doing the cardios with me in the mornings. So we have about 5 seconds. We're going to come right back down to it. So get those feet. You can always readjust once you get down, right? Push the knees out, and let's push the hips up. So I really like, actually, my couch here. This is a lot more comfortable than being at the gym and you're on the edge of a bench there. This is definitely a little bit more comfortable for my back. So we're still trying to keep that head and neck in alignment with the spine. We want to avoid, tucking that chin under like this or letting it rest, right? We want to keep it up and in alignment. Whew. Now, if you're like me and you need a little rest, just going to take a couple seconds here, and then I'm going to keep pushing through. There's nothing wrong with that. These are not easy. Definitely targeting that glute area. All right, let's stop there, taking a break. I'm actually going to sit on the top of my couch. I'm pretty sure we've got the same thing one more time. Grab that water. Grab that water. What are you waiting for? I'll wait. Good. So another way to make this a little bit easier, I should have said, you can actually move that band a little higher, right? If the band is a little bit higher, you're going to be utilizing those bigger muscles to push the band out. I like it about my knees. That's a good, it's a good place for me in particular. It gives me just the right amount of tension, right, on those knees, pushing them out. Not doing a whole lot of talk about breathing, but I'm hoping you're taking some deep inhales, big exhales. We are over halfway here. Good, good, good. Good squeeze. Best to try to squeeze and exhale at the same time. When you're in the down phase, you will kind of want to inhale here. Beautiful. Stop there. Take that band off, I think. Watch, I'm wrong. We probably have to keep that band on. Deadlift into a squat. Yeah, we got to keep the band on. I'm going to change my camera view as well. It's a good shot. It's a good shot. So, no, we don't need the band. I'm completely lying to you. So we have a couple of different options here. Grabbing a couple of weights, right? You're gonna be able to hold them here, and easily by your size. Now, if you don't have weights, you can use something that is a little bit heavy. You can use one weight, right? You can do it this way as well, no problem. I'm going to try to use two. These, by the way, are 8s. Hold on. This is the thing. I have to always double check. Okay. And we're gonna get restarted. Sorry, I was playing around with the, so deadlift, I'm going to hold those dumbbells in my hand, bring them up into a squat, bring them back down into that deadlift and squat. So I really want you to be very mindful of your movements here. It is not to be rushed at all. Chest is going to stay lifted. I'm going to turn to you. So on that deadlift, all you're looking for here is a bit of a stretch down the back of your leg. That's it. That's all you're looking for. You are not trying to push those weights all the way down to the ground. We're just letting them dangle a little bit. And then drawing those dumbbells up to the shoulders. Beautiful. I want you to stop there and let it go. Wonderful. Shake it out, walk around. We're going to do that again. I'm actually going to, for me, increase. So we're just, again, I'm following my own advice. I was using 8s before. I'm going to try the 10s. Not changing the speed. So I'm not going to change my tempo as I'm going through the workout. Good. With the deadlift, I want you to focus on squeezing through the midsection. Your core is braced and pushing your bum towards the back of the room. So if you can imagine a button on a wall behind you, and you're trying, instead of just tipping forward, you're trying to push your hips back to hit that button behind you. Good? So what we want to avoid, I'm hoping you can see my butt is not kind of changing, and I'm just leaning forward. I'm actually kind of putting all out of my weight on my toes. I want you to shift your weight back. Even though I put my toes up, don't actually put your toes up. I was almost losing my balance. But you definitely want to have even weight in both the front of your toes and your heels, right? And push that hip back. This is why we go slow as well. Stop there. We go slow in order to really understand what the body's doing. If I'm just kind of doing this and I'm just going as fast as I can, well, I may not be engaging the right muscles. I could be overusing something. So especially not engaging the right muscles, we've missed the point of this particular exercise, right? There are good mornings, a little bit different, right? A good morning, you've got the bar dumbbell on your back, and you're bowing forward. You're really not going to be able to go too far, right? But that's not what we're doing today. We're doing a deadlift. It's a little bit different. It's different when you're using dumbbells as well, right? So where your hands are allowed to grip, definitely different than if they were on a bar. Now, you might be using a bar. That's okay. That's all right. If you guys keep going. If you are using the bar, I can kind of show you. And you can see I don't have any weight on here. You don't have to have weight. You are going to be thinking about the muscles in your butt. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Placing this just underneath the chin. And there you go. Right? Getting into that squat. So this is like a forward squat. You've got the bar resting in front of the chest instead of most of the time we have the bar resting on our back, right? Give me 5 seconds. In 3, 2, 1. Now, the thing is when we start using heavier weights, especially with a bar, the transition to that squat might change a little bit. So if you can, try to stay with the dumbbells. Just with your at-home version anyways. This will not work. It would work in the gym, but again, you have access to all those other weights. I'm still going to recommend for this particular workout that I'm giving you, I still want you to use dumbbells or something similar, right? Soup cans, water bottles, something like that. I did say earlier you could do this with one, and you can absolutely do this with one weight, right? Down, and just like that. Keep going. I'm going to get back into my regular here, and I'm resting my dumbbells on my shoulders. I've got my elbows kind of pointing forward. With the elbows up here, this also helps you remember to keep the chest up because it might be very easy to drop down like that with your chest. So keeping those elbows lifted, lift the chest, push the bum back. Excellent. I feel like I may have done one extra here. Is this 4 rounds? It's okay. It's all right if it's 4. We're going to stop there. Good. All right. Sorry. I'm just realizing I 100% did miss something. So we're going to go back. Where did my pink band go? We're going to go back and grab a band. Again, you don't need a band. I'm also going to use my mat here, but you don't need the band. You can use a pillow or blankets to help cushion your knees. And we've got a donkey kick pulse here. So, I'm going to get rid of the garbage here. Can you see me still? So, choosing one leg, flexing that foot, and just pulse. Just pulse. So I've got, it doesn't really matter how long your leg is, trying as much as you can to keep it bent. So you're thinking about pushing your heel up towards the ceiling. I've got my band not directly under my knee, my standing knee here. It's not directly under, but if you're finding that it's rolling or it's sliding, you can kind of tuck it underneath so it doesn't move. That's a good option as well. And we've got those little pulses. Now, if you need, you're going to take a little break, just like I'm doing. There's no shame in taking a little break, and then come right back to it. These are tiny, tiny, tiny movements. I really want you to focus on the glute right in the middle. All right, relax. We're gonna rest only for a few seconds to switch sides. So I kind of like that option with putting the band under the knee here. And when you're ready, you're gonna get into it again on the other side. So what you might find is now your new standing leg on the bottom here might tire, right? Because it already worked. And that's okay. You need to reset. You can reset, come back down, and whoops, I might need to move because I've got that couch there. And I'm really focusing on the squeeze of the glute. Now check out the low back. It is not, I'm not doing one of these where the chest and the ribs and everything is moving, right? Bracing that midsection and only lifting that lifting your leg. Whew. I need a little break. Little break. We got 10 seconds. Come on. Excellent. Flex that foot. And let's stop here. Little rest. I'm going to move forward if I can. Just a little. So again, we can grab that water. Still having knee problems on this right side. But we definitely learned to work through it. It's actually a lot better. Before, little things like this, just sitting in a kneeling position, was a little pinchy. I know that's not a very scientific word or whatever, but if you haven't noticed by now, I'm not crazy scientific. But yeah, so it is getting better. I'm doing a lot of massage and stretching for it. Let's get back into this. So, squeeze. I can actually feel my band, even though I told you these bands don't roll very much. I can feel it bent a little bit. So it's kind of pushing on the outside of my leg. And that, if it really bothers me that much, I can stop for a second and readjust. And that's fine. Again, it's not always about outlasting that timer. It's just kind of pushing for as long as you can with really good form. Come on. Whew, take a little break here, a little second. Hold on. And now we've got 10 seconds. So I'm trying to keep that knee bent as much as I can. And let's relax. Switch sides. So I'm going to kind of maneuver my band here to the other side. And we'll wait. So in this nice long back position here. And let's go. So long back, long spine, tummy braced, right? Hopefully you didn't see me do one of these, right? Oh, and then tipping. So we want to kind of make sure that we're tucking that tailbone under a little bit. I'm still close to that couch. Good stuff. Now, here's something. The next time we do this, I'm going to actually show you something because I'm noticing, and if anybody else has this too, I don't have wrist problems necessarily, but sometimes they get a little bit sore in this position, and we're here for a while. So I'm just going to show you, not right now, but I'll show you in a second, a good option. So stop there. If you have dumbbells, they have to have flat sides though. This will not work. You're going to fight too much with it if they're rolling all over the place, if these are big circles. But you can have them here for your hands, so you can kind of straighten your wrist a little bit, right? As opposed to having it down on the floor and it's quite the wrist bend. This is a really nice option. It helps if they're not metal, like these here have this kind of plastic kind of coating on it, which is a little bit more helpful. But it's just a thought, it's just an idea. We're going to go right back into this one more time. But this is a good way to kind of keep your wrist a little bit more straight. But as you can see, because I'm pressing onto these dumbbells, if they were rolling, right, that wouldn't be good. So we definitely want to kind of keep them here oh my goodness. We definitely want to use dumbbells that have flat sides to keep them in one spot. That's what I was trying to say. Oh. Can you tell I have not had my coffee yet this morning? 10 seconds, tiny, tiny pulse. We're not going for huge range of motion here, tiny pulse. Good, switch. So we're gonna take that band under the other side. Whew. And you can give the arms a little bit of a break here. And coming right back. Let's go. So you got it. Now, hopefully, this is going to be one of those sneaky ones, right? You're going to look at this and you'd be like, oh, I could do that for hours. But right about now, you might be going, glad it's only a minute. Right? Now again, if something starts to, the form starts to go, right, or something like that, I want you to pull it back, rest, actually have the knee on the ground, rest, and then come back to it, right? Maybe you get a couple in that look really good, and then all of a sudden the form starts to go, so you reset. Again, right? This is the way you do it until you get back into that position, and right away it's no good, right? Then you know you need a bigger rest. Beautiful, stop there. We are done. I'm just looking at the thing here. We are done. So let's go ahead, get rid of that band. I'm gonna put it over here so I know where to find it next time. Right? Makes sense. I'm just gonna push this away and I'm walking around, putting some stuff away. We're gonna get into some stretching. If you are still trying to get up off the ground, I'll give you some time. So I'm just pushing my equipment away. I'm always telling my kids to clean up after themselves. How would it look if I didn't do that myself? So we're going to cross the leg over here. We've got a couple of options. You can slide your hands down that front leg. Another great option here with this one is to actually rest on a table, a couch, or something. So the front knee is a lot more bent. The back knee is not. It is nice and straight. And we are trying to drop the chest. Now you can see I'm pretty parallel with the floor with my back. You may be able to go farther. You may not be able to get that far, right? You're going to definitely feel on the other side, outside of your leg a little bit, and especially the hamstring. So we're going to crisscross to the other side. Remember, the front leg is more bent, and the back leg is nice and straight. So it's easier for me to point. You may feel it along the side of your leg, definitely through the hamstring. And we're just trying to inhale here. And as you exhale, you can kind of come down a little bit further. Good. So it's like we're trying to push the hip that way without actually leaning. This is a really good stretch, especially for anybody who sits a lot. Good. Relaxing into our down dog. Into our down dog. So we're going to crawl all the way out. Hands and feet are about hip distance. And we're stretching out like this. So we're trying to press those heels as much as you can down to the floor. If you want, you can actually walk the dog or pump those heels. Very nice. And as always, you can stretch a little bit longer. Wonderful. Let's come right down to the floor. I'm not breakdancing, I promise. Crossing leg over, reaching through the window, and we're pulling that leg close. Now, if you can't get into this position, hopefully you can still see me. Instead, you can hold on to the foot and the knee behind you and draw it that way. I've got a knot in my back. Good. Another way, if you've got super long arms or you're very flexible, you can reach into the shin if you'd like, but I kind of like to pull it just under my knee. This is a great one. You can also do this one sitting up in a chair. Sitting on the edge of a chair or anything, and do the same thing, crossing the ankle over, but instead of reaching through the hole, you're going to take your chest and bring it down towards your leg. So if you're somebody that does not like to get down onto the ground or finds it difficult, you can definitely do this one sitting in a chair. So I love the fact that multiple things can be done multiple ways, right? Good. We're gonna flip over. So this is one of those ones again. Quad stretch, laying down. You can do this one standing up, right? So if you're here, you're reaching in behind, you're still trying to avoid that knee creeping up, trying to keep it down underneath where your hip would be if you were standing, or as close to the other knee as possible. And you can see my other leg is bent. That's going to help with some balance, right? It's going to help with some support. Good. Give me 3 seconds. And we're going to switch. I'm going to go this way. You can just roll over if you'd like. And holding on and laying out and relaxing. So in this position, you still can push your foot into your hand. And hopefully you're feeling this a little bit in the hip flexor, in the quad, that's the front of your leg. Excellent. This is our last one. Deep breath and exhale. Excellent. Letting go here. Go ahead. Help yourself up. Use any means necessary. Come over here. Tell me that you've done the workout. And there you go. So you can see that I myself have worked with the app. I'm going to turn the music off. So working with that app, you can see sometimes you can take the little pauses. If you don't have enough time to grab the weights and stuff like that, there's nothing wrong with that. What I don't want, or what we try to avoid, is stopping it for a very, very long time after every single exercise. We do want to try to keep that heart rate going. We want to keep it up. We want to get some sweat on if we can. But ladies, I thank you so much for joining me this morning, whatever time you happen to put this video on, and I hope it was good. You'll have to give me some comments about music. How loud was it? Was it okay? So anyways, take care, have a fantastic day, and we will see you on Monday. Cheers.